Now I'm going to remove the 4 bolts that hold down the fuel injection rail. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 10 millimeter. Alright, got those loose. Now I'm going to jiggle and wiggle a little bit here. There we go. It's popping up. They've been in there a long time, so they're going to be tight. There it comes. Okay, got all 8 loose. Let's pull it up. I'm going to take this right over to the workbench. Now I can easily remove this pipe. Here's the 2 bolts I was talking about. So I'll remove that. I'm going to leave the Egr valve on, and we'll start loosening up these bolts that are down in here that hold it on. Let me get the light on it for you. I'm going to take those out. There's one there. You got one there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's number 12 back there. So I got those 2 bolts loose. There's 2 3/8 heads here, hex. Got them out, and what I did was I loosened the 13 millimeter back here. I'll get the light on it for you. Back there to get this bracket. You can see where it was slid on. That holds the wiring harness, so I'll pull this out of here. Here's the bracket. Goes in like that. So what I was able to do is push this harness over a little bit to give myself a little more working room on that. And that's that. So now we've got to loosen this up down here so that we can get this out of the way. Well, I'll do that next. I'm going to put some PB blaster on there. On that nut. We'll crack that loose. Well, I got most of the bolts for the intake out. I had a problem down here with this tube. I can't get that nut off. It's frozen. I tried heating it and vice grips and everything. So I'm going to leave the tube in and just pushed it away a little bit from the intake. Hopefully that'll work okay. I did have to remove the Egr valve, which was here, just so I can get to that back bolt down there, that one right there. So that came out of the way. I got to take off the throttle body up here. I'm going to remove this throttle body with these 4 bolts because there's a bolt right down here that's hard to access with the throttle body on, so I'll take that off and yank it out. Alright, I had to take a blow hammer and tap here and here. Took a block of wood and tapped here with the hammer, tapped here to free the thing up because it was stuck. And now it's up. I'll put this on the bench. Here's what the back looks like. I'm going to clean this all up. I got a new gasket with the kit. Moment of truth. I got all the bolts out. I'm going to start tapping around the intake with this blow hammer here. Slightly tapping it and get it loose. Having a blast. How are you?
Alright, so I'm watching the weather. They said the system we saw today is separate from what we're going to see tonight and do tomorrow.
Yeah, the nor'easter's coming.
Yeah.
Northeaster, whatever it's called.
They said there's a 120-mile wiggle room between totals. So that it shifts like within that little amount of, distance.
Yeah.
It could make a major shift in totals. So, it could shift further east and we can see west, and further west and we can see more.
So they're just covering their
Hour
ass.
by hour.
They're covering their ass in case we get a blizzard or in case we get nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're saying like 6 for us, but if it shifts, further west, we can get more. So. So we shall see.
All right. Thanks for the weather report. This baby's tight, but I can feel it's getting looser. Put some vibration through it. Loosen it up. Okay, I think I got it loose enough. We'll start pulling up. There we go. The silicone on the back is still a little stiff there. Get it. Just take your time, be patient. There it goes. Okay. Up and out. Let's take this baby to the bench. Oh boy. Now that's out. Let's take a look. Here's what we came for. We're going to replace these gaskets and then put new silicone along. This is called the China wall here. So between each cylinder head, so cylinder head here, passenger side, driver side, we're going to put that sealant in, and that's what usually leaks right back there. You can see where it's beaded up. So this looks pretty nice in here. What I'll do is I'm going to put a towel down in the valley. Here, let me point this out. For you guys having oil leaks on the back of your LT1, a lot of times this is a culprit right here. The oil pressure sensor. These two. Sometimes one or the other will leak. Alright, let me get some rags, stuff this in here, and get scraping. I got this covered so now we can't get any debris down in the valley. I took some rags, cotton rags, and shoved them in each intake port. Definitely don't want anything dropping down inside of those. That can get ugly. And what I'll do now is get a flat scraper, and I'm just going to start removing the gasket material, the RTV. What I'll do now is replace the O-rings on the fuel injectors. I'll take a small pick and I'll get under here, pull that O-ring off, and then put a new one on, and then I'll probably put some silicone grease on there before they go back in to lube them up so they slip in better. Got the throttle bodies all clean now. It's not bad. I got a new gasket for it, so no more carbon in there. And the intake's cleaned, and get to the next step. Okay, everything is propped and clean, ready to go. Got these surfaces real clean, got the China walls real nice and clean. And what I'll do is get a bead of the right stuff on there. I'll show you guys what it is after I get it on there. Right along the China wall there. And the gaskets go in dry. Okay, so I got the 2 intake gaskets right here. They're going to go in dry. And on each one they have these little tabs. A little white tab fits inside the cylinder head. Here's the kit number. Comes with the EGR gasket, or not the, it comes with everything but that EGR gasket. Comes with the EGR pipe gasket. There it is there. It's MS 95 580. and it comes with 2 of the intake gaskets. They're the same, so it doesn't matter which side you put them on. Just put this blue and silver side up. So this side will go out. Here's the intake on the bench all cleaned up. I used some of that chem tool on here to clean all this up. I cleaned all the little injector ports with some Q-tips in there. I got these things all cleaned up, the injectors. I got them wrapped in plastic so I didn't get any debris in there. And there's new O-rings on each one, and there's a little bit of silicone grease on each O-ring. The throttle body, I think I showed that earlier, that's ready to go. So we'll get to the next step. Alright, I'm going to try to put this gasket on here one-handed. What I did in the corners was just put a little bit of RTV so it'll be underneath this tab on the end, just to help seal it a little better. The factory had sealant underneath the end tabs. And then over here, push that in. Push these little white tabs in. There it goes, you heard it click. This side's in. And now I'll put that bead along there, along the China wall. Let me grab that stuff. Okay, we got the bead of sealant on there. I use this stuff. They don't pay me, so use whatever you like, but I'll use this right stuff in a can. This little can's like 15 bucks, 13 bucks. All right, I'm gonna drop it in there. We'll get to the bolt, bolt it down, and I'll give you the torque values. An important step, I got all the bolts, I put them in place the way they came out of order. This was the front, this way. So, because some of these have studs, and there's a nut that holds the wire harness clips on. Anyway, on the back, I put RTV on these, every one of them except the 2 ends on each end, each side. So there's 6 bolts on each side, and the 4 in the center on each side get some RTV. Maybe you can see that. I'm going to smear that on the threads. The reason is those bolt through and are open down below, so oil can wick up through the threads and eventually start leaking. So we'll seal those up and we're ready to put it in. Bolts are all threaded in hand tight. You can see them down in there. And now what you do is you want to tighten these to about 6 or 7 foot-pounds, which is I think like 71 inch-pounds. Let me double check, take you over to the book. I'm going to give you guys a shot of this sequence here. It's 71 inches, which is about 6 or 7 foot-pounds. And then the second pass is 35 foot-pounds. And this is real important right here. So you want to start at 1, go to 2, 3, 4, all the way till you have all 12 tight. So take a look at that. Stop the video if you have to, but that's it right there. So let me do that. Alright, it's all torqued down. We got just the right amount of squeeze out. That's when the RTV pushes out a little bit. You don't want too much squeezing out because that can get inside the engine. But you can see down in here, got this little bit of squeeze out right in there, and in the back there's a little bit more, but I went a little heavier on the back because that's where they tend to leak. So you can see it right down in here. We're going to let this stuff set up. Even though the manufacturer says you can drive this thing in like 5 minutes, I'm going to let it sit overnight anyway. Put all this stuff back together. I'm not going to bore you guys with those details. And I've got some hoses on order. These hoses for the throttle body, if they're originals on your car, I suggest you replace them. This one was real spongy, and so was the other one that came off the teeth. Alright, so I got the new hoses on, the new throttle body coolant hoses. Got the one here and this one here is on now. Everything's buttoned up. I'm going to start cranking on it. We'll see how long it takes to fire up. I topped off this coolant. As soon as that starts running, I'm going to have to fill that up because that's going to be pumping through the radiator. Going to have to top that off. So let me crank on the engine get that air through the system. Let's do it.
I'm going to prime the fuel pump a couple of times. Alright, let's crank it. Beautiful, fired right up. Top the antifreeze off now. There's some smoke coming off there. That's the old penetration oil I use and stuff. Some smoke coming off, that's normal. I'm going to check for some leaks now. Down at the intake for any oil leaks. That's the air pump kicking on. Looking good. Flip the throttle a little bit. Alright, so you see it fired up pretty quickly. And there's some smoke coming off here. That's just from some penetrating oil that I put on there. So I'm going to top off the coolant now. So I just got back from the test drive. The car's running great. I looked under the hood. I don't see any leaks, nothing smoking, so that's a good thing. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to click that red box right here below. That's the subscribe box, and that little star next to it so you can receive future videos when they come up. I broke one of those small connector clips on the IAC, the idle air control valve, and I'm going to do a video here in the future of how to replace just the clip. Don't sweat, it's pretty easy. I'll show you how to do it. Just subscribe and leave me a comment down there. Let me know what project you guys are working on. Alright, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.